Hello, and welcome back to Sharing a Chapter a Day. This is Do, Ra, me, and today I will be reading Chapter 86 of Engagement in Peril by Dara, Odoe, Suk. Chapter 86 is titled CEDE Testing Career Begins. Besides being engaged, I had also found a more rewarding job with the local school district then. I was doing quite well with my job and was quite popular with the bosses and staff at Poly and throughout the school district. By the end of the school year, I was asked to work during the summer month to test minority students with a new state-mandated test exam on their English proficiency. It was the beginning of my mini-summer work career then. I have now become a California English Development Exam tester for the summer from that summer on. The kind of shit Shinshin was doing later then. Although he was in the next city down from Long Beach in Cherry Pineapple Grove, being a CEDE tester was easy. You didn't have to do much, mainly repetitive reading and questions to various minority students. While working as a CEDE tester, since it was the CED initial year, we as testers were required to carry around a 20-pound plastic container kit that had the following items in it: a large cassette player and recorder, a microphone, AA batteries and D-size battery, notepads, several boxes of number 2 pencil, erasers, passes back to class, answer sheets, and prompts. Test booklets, instruction booklets, answer booklets, grading and scoring grids, and of course, the peace of mind to be patient when testing some unruly and uncooperative minority student who questioned why they were being tested in the first place. CEDE tester then consisted of various college aid and instructional aides. Blanca too was also a tester then. We were testing only students at our assigned school then. We used the teacher's lounge in the school cafeteria to test about 1,200 students then at Poly that spring and summer of 2000. Our supervisor was a substitute teacher. Luckily for us then, our team leader was Jay Smith, whose alma mater too was Poly. He graduated high school with me in 1995. He had already earned his bachelor's degree then, and of course, his mother worked there at the school, so he had the hookups. But he was cool all the same. He often made comical jokes and just bullshit for the most part. He was a good leader all the same, and since then, for the next 8 years, I climbed the ranks of a CEDE tester and eventually became a team leader as well, just like Shinshin had done for the school in Cherry Pineapple Grove several years down the road, when we finally were reunited once again, and which I think was the beginning to the end of him. I sometimes think that if Shinshin were and I were never met, were never I sometimes think that if Shinshin and I were never to reunite, maybe, just maybe, he would still be alive to this day. I think I may have been the death of my beloved Shinshin Nagami. I am so sorry, Shinshin, for my betrayal, for my ignorance against you. I just had I just had to stupidly stir the mix in your jar of life, and for that I am truly and regrettably sorry. I wish that bitch Delilah never came into our lives. She ruined it for the both of us. I spent 2.5 years at Polytechnic High School working with Mr. Clark with the English Language Learners department, and eventually I had earned my Associate of Art degree from the Long Beach City College in Liberal Art and General Study with a GPA of 3.7. I then transferred to the California State University of Long Beach, off of Ballflower Boulevard and 7th Street in the east side of Long Beach, and I switched my major with the school district to substitute instructional aid, where I worked with various special education students throughout the city of Long Beach. It was here that I had hand-on experience working with special education students ranging from mild to severe handicapped students, from Down syndrome to autism, from disturbed student, emotionally disturbed student. Also, I worked with behavioral and emotionally disturbed students as well. Working as an instructional aide paid a little higher than a college aide did, and I often had calls to various sites throughout the school week. I was often requested by classes and people who knew that I was able to handle any situation and position that was needed of me when it comes to special education. Besides helping the classroom teacher with lessons and monitoring, I also help with feeding students, change, and pamper students who are wheelchair-ridden and bound, and those who wear diaper and pull-up on a daily basis. I also help with gastrointestinal tube feeding and trach tube feeding. Being an instructional aide then gave me more time to take morning classes and day classes, which I needed because of my core classes were only giving during morning sessions. So being a sub aide worked out for me then. I still earned pretty much the same and was able to pay for my rent and daily expenses of gasoline for my vehicle and minor monthly necessities. Since my breakup with Benevolence, I was more focused on school and did really well in all aspects. I had no time to fuck around anymore. Although I still had one night stands, I wasn't stuck in a rut and didn't need to tend to someone's need then. I was focused on getting through the university and getting my bachelor degree. Once I transferred to Cal State Long Beach, I wanted to major in nursing, but there was a 3-year waiting period at the time for that particular program, so I chose to major in administration of criminal justice with the Human Services Department instead and got through that really smooth. Like my city college day, I always made the dean's honors list every semester of my academic career then. I was also nominated and selected to the U.S. University Honor Society then. After a good year and a half at Cal State Long Beach, I graduated cum laude with honor with a Bachelor of Science degree in criminal justice and eventually was accepted into the graduate program as well. I was going to get my master's and PhD, where I was planning to pursue a PhD in that particular field or public administration. From then on, that's where you saw me and my Shinshin. From then on, that's where you saw Mai and Shinshin fall from grace. We were both played against one another, and eventually one of us had to die then. And unfortunately for me, for my beloved Shinshin, he chose to kill himself for the sake of me. He wanted to protect me, although I was the wrong. He was so selfish then, taking his own life and not even bothering to consult me about it. I truly miss him. How could someone love someone so much and give up their life for that person who had betrayed him? I just don't understand it. Why? Why did Shinshin? Why Shinshin did what he did to protect me? What the hell was his purpose for doing such a selfish, foolish thing? And when summer and the fall semester rolled around every year since, I was often assigned to the number 1 CEDE team, where often I was the most knowledgeable and more experienced than the other tester and worker. During my testing experiences with the CEDE for those 8+ years, I had several different CEDE coordinators from Victoria M., Amanda A., and Calvin S. After a good 5 years of working as a tester and assistant team leader, I was finally made a team leader of my own team for the Long Beach Unified School District then. I had to earn my bachelor degree first then, and once that was accomplished, Amanda A., our CEDE coordinator, then hooked me up, and I was easily hired as a substitute teacher for the Long Beach Unified School District since I had already taken, and passed the CBEST exam for the state of California to be a substitute teacher. Amanda had some pull then with the district human resources department. Amanda was a very lovely woman then. She made some lucky guys a wonderful wife in Kauai, Hawaii, where she was promoted to run the school district English department program there in Hawaii. Amanda knew of my abilities and liked my work ethic and left seeing me then. Although I wasn't as good as Shinshin, I was well versed and knowledgeable for the CED testing protocol and have been the only one left from the original testing team back in 2000. I had to take the CBEST to stay qualified as a substitute teacher for the entire state of California, and that was easily accomplished on my part. I took several exams on Saturday morning, of which I easily zoomed through, and unfortunately for me, that light, wet morning, I was rear-ended by a drunk driver, of which my vehicle was damaged. I easily zoomed through the exam, and unfortunately for me that light, wet morning, after the test, I was on my way home. I was rear-ended by a drunk driver, of which my vehicle was damaged. I was happy that I passed the state exam to be a substitute teacher several weeks later. Once I ran my own team, unlike that of Shinshin's team, who honored and cherished his good nature and giving heart, where everyone flocked to be with him and his testing ethic, I was an okay team leader, one could say. I didn't really give a shit much about the testing. I knew the job well and that it needed to be done so we can all collect a paycheck. After all, that's what we were all doing then, working during the summer to earn some extra income. I was much more like that of Jimmy's team then, nonchalant and bullshitting for the most part throughout the testing session. I was nonchalant and just went with the flow of the testing situation. I wasn't as neat or tidy as Shinshin was when it comes to getting things in order and on time. Shinshin was hardcore about getting things right the first time. I just collected the hours and took my allotted time to finish sites and getting things done. I was sometimes nice to my team, but not much. I didn't have weekly potluck or took my team out for lunch and such. I wasn't wasting my time then like Shinshin had done, who was dedicated to his team and with people who eventually stuck him in the back with their lies, cheats, and false accusations, like that Catholic bitch Delilah and her devil-like mother did when they murdered his giving nature and began his life of despair and anguish. In all, I did the minimal work and requirement that were needed to finish a site and then move on. Tessa then, Tessa that knew me and knew of my abilities and bullshitting nature didn't really care about wanting to be on my team or seeking what I can give them. They just wanted the hours and did the easy task of being a CEDE tester, which was allotted by the state during every summer and fall season. I was team leader with the Long Beach Unified School District CEDE team for 3 years before I was laid off during the beginning of America's big new recession in summer of 2008. And of course, my testers and tester in Long Beach didn't know of Shinshin, who was running his own testing team in Cherry Pineapple Grove, just next door to our city. But our CEDE coordinators and the research department have heard of him and how efficient he was with his testing crew then. They had mentioned it to us team leader then, which consisted of substitute teachers. They seemed to use him as a model example of proficiency in how to go about running a testing team during our in-service updates and trainings. Shinshinagami name seemed to spread about throughout the CEDE testing community then. It's a good thing, Dara, that that you weren't as nice or giving as Shinshin. Look where all that good deed and that he did got him. He got the shorter end of the stick and eventually died as a result of his God-giving good nature. See how blind he was then? A pretty face shoved her pampered Catholic ass in his face, and he was mystified by it, and that was the beginning of the end for him. It's it's like no good deed goes unpunished and punished. Shinshin was. He was punished. You realize that it was all a setup then, right, Dara? Delilah and her conniving mother had it all set up for Shinshin. They were they were out to get him for all that he was worth, even if it meant his life and soul. They were going to end him in that sense. I'm glad you didn't get taken advantage of in that sense, but then again, we both lost a wonderful, loving friend and soulmate at the all the same. I really miss my Shinshin. I really miss Shinshin, Dara. I am still pissed at you for allowing that to happen to Shinshin. You had to be involved with that bitch Delilah as well. How could you? How could you be with that bitch? You knew damn well that kind of shit would have you knew damn well what that kind of shit would have done to Shinshin, and yet he gave it all. He gave his all to both of you. Why? Thank you for listening. This is the end of chapter 86. Be on the lookout for chapter 87, titled Infidelity and Promiscuity. This is Do, Ra, me, and I'll see you later. Thank you.